Good morning, beloveds. My alarm went off at 6:30 this morning, and I saw thunder and lightning, so I reset my alarm for 7:30 and went back to bed. Um, so I'm hoping that you're having as good a morning as I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have gotten up and gone for a walk, but not in the thunder and lightning. So I was like, I'm just gonna get an extra hour of sleep. So, sleep is very important for stress, and it looks like it's just going to rain for the next 2 days. So y'all have a kind thought for all of the people working out at the Texas Renaissance Festival, because that thing's open rain or shine, and it looks like it's going to rain for the next 2 days, or well, today and tomorrow. Hopefully, the Renaissance Festival tends to sit in a little pocket, so a lot of times it'll rain around it, but won't necessarily rain there. And with it being the final weekend, people will go out in the rain. So, yeah. At least it'll be warm. Okay. Today is November 27th, and our title today is Health. Our Bible quote is, "The Lord will take away from thee all sickness. I am the Lord that healeth thee." And the first part of that was from Deuteronomy 7:15, and the second part was from Exodus 15:26. Okay. Health is a state of wholeness in mind and in body. The body is the servant of the mind, and the mind is the offspring of pure spirit. Thus, the Bible tells us that we are spirit, soul, or mind, and body. These three are really one and are supposed to work in perfect unison with one another. This can be done only when the mind lifts its countenance to the spirit, permitting its flow of harmony, unity, and beauty to clear a passageway. The body will always reflect this inner poise. Today, I know that my health, my physical well-being, as well as my mental poise and peace are drawn from an infinite source of perfection. Today, I know that the Lord, the law of good, is the healing presence of life, forever restoring my mind and my physical being. I pray to or commune with this spirit within me. Thus, I am made whole. And from the Science of Mind text, when the prayer of faith penetrates the subjective thought and neutralizes false images, then the sick are raised into health. And that is from the textbook, page 501. Okay. So let's think about health for a minute, and we are going to talk about spiritual bypass for a minute. One of the things that science of mind, well, no, not science, not just science of mind. We're going to say one of the things that new thought, of which science of mind is part of, has been accused of, and rightly so, is what we call spiritual bypassing. And I don't remember when Jesse said this. He may have said it, I think he said it in the Heartfelt Living class. There's a difference between asking yourself, okay, how did I create this? Versus asking somebody else, especially when dealing with health issues, how did you create this? Because it's just not a helpful question to ask somebody else. It is a fair question to ask yourself, but not... It's not a fair question to ask somebody else. So let's start there. And then we also want to remember when we are dealing with health, be it physical, mental, and emotional health, that there's far more that goes into it than just willing it so. Okay? We have to deal with what Ernest calls the race consciousness. We have to deal with the physical environment around us, and to a large degree, we do have to deal with our own mental and emotional baggage. I'm going to use the word baggage. Now, that being said, there are books written on spontaneous remissions. So it's what Jesse called, because if you read Emma Curtis Hopkins, hardball metaphysics. Absolutely, yes, it is possible to wake up the next day completely healed. But if that is not happening for you, please don't beat yourself up on it. And I will give you an example. The health challenge that I am currently having right now is structural. It literally has to do with the way that I grew. When I was in 6th or 7th grade, they took us into a weight room in the gym, so that they separated the boys and the girls, and they had us checked by experts. And they discovered that my spine has a little bit of a curve in it. And they watched me grow. And the curve is still there. It's in my lower back. And it's just enough. It was never enough for them to intervene. But it's just enough that now that I'm closing in on 50, I'm seeing some of the problems that I could be having. Now, here's the thing. There are choices that I could have made when I was younger that probably would have supported me better now. But I didn't make them when I was younger, mostly because I didn't know better. But now I'm being forced into those choices. Here's the good news. There are things that I can do. But they are things that I am going to have to do for the rest of my life. So that's spontaneous. And the grace of it is that the challenge that I'm talking about in this case, there are people who are trained to help me do this. They're spirit. They are spirit in physical form, helping me to support this challenge that I have going on. And it's up to me to continue to do it. Yeah. So that's, when it comes to health, and if y'all have watched any of these, and I get off onto talking about mental health, I'm a big believer in that prayer and meditation is fantastic for mental health. It is. But by God, if you need to take a pill, take a pill. Because that also came from spirit. So, don't beat yourself up if one treatment doesn't work with health, okay? These are wonderful, and the last thing I want you to hear is, this is the only thing you need to do. This is one of the tools in your toolbox, all right? All right, so now that I have gotten on my soapbox about health, let's go back. And I'm not even going to touch the Bible quotes. The Lord will take away from thee all sickness. I am the Lord that healeth me. And that's one of the things. When it comes to our health, we can make choices. And when we are focused on the good of spirit, we're going to make better choices. So there's that. Health is a state of wholeness in mind and in body. The body is the servant of the mind. That is absolutely true. The body will follow the mind. If the mind is not feeling well, it is going to show up in the body. I often joke that my gut is an early warning system, that I'm letting my head run away with me. And the mind is the offspring from pure spirit. Thus, the Bible tells us that we are spirit, soul, and it's in quotes, of mind, and body. These three these three are really one and are supposed to work in perfect union with one another. They're supposed to work in perfect union with one another, but we don't live in a perfect material world. We do live in a perfect spiritual world. We don't live in a perfect material world. But the good news is that we do have that perfect material world, or as like Dr. Goswami says, we have a blueprint. We have a perfect blueprint. And that is what, when we are working on the body, we want to go back into spirit to that perfect blueprint. We go back to God and say, this is your idea of me. Not my idea of me, not society's idea of me, not my doctor's idea of me, but this is God's idea of me. And that's that perfect blueprint, and that's where we want to go. So anytime you are doing a treatment, you want to go back for your perfect blueprint. Anytime somebody does a treatment for you, you want them to go back for that for God's idea of you. Not their idea of you, God's idea of you. As a perfect, whole, complete, wonderful, loving manifestation of spirit. Okay? These three, this can be done only when the mind lifts its countenance to the spirit. Perfect blueprint, God's idea of you, bliss body. Permitting its flow of harmony, unity, and beauty to clear a passageway. And that's exactly what Dr. Goswami says. If you haven't read The Quantum Doctor, it's fascinating. But that's what he says. He says, when you are working on anything to do with the body, be it mental, physical, or emotion, what you want to do is reach up through the 5 bodies into that bliss body, get that perfect blueprint, and work that blueprint back down through the 5 bodies into, it falls a little hard on the ear, but he calls it the gross body, the material body. And for most of us, that takes time. I don't know about you, but I saw a meme the other day yesterday that cracked me up. It says, I've had my patients tested. I'm negative. I'm not the only one. When working on this sprained knee, 6 weeks, not patient. I'm ready to run again, but I'm not ready to run again and hurt myself. So I'm constantly reaching for that perfect idea of my knee. The body will always reflect this inner poise. Today, I know that my health, my physical well-being, as well as my mental poise and peace are drawn from an infinite source of perfection. God's idea of me. The perfect blueprint, the bliss body. That's what I know about myself. And if you ask me to, that's what I know about you. I know that perfection in God, that wholeness in God. I want to know God's idea of you. Not necessarily who you think you are, but who God knows you are. Today, I know that the Lord, the law of good, is the healing presence of life, forever restoring my mind and my physical being. It's kind of one of those things of, where do I turn first when I have a physical, mental, or emotional struggle? And what Ernest is reminding us to do is the first place we turn is to spirit. And once we've turned to spirit, then spirit will guide us to all the other places, people, and things that we can use to support that physical wholeness. Okay? So I didn't say spirit was going to do it all. I just said we turn to spirit first, and then spirit will turn us to. In my case, I'm going to a place called a Rosti, and they use several different modalities to support the body. But it's also, I'm also, trying to make good food choices and things like that. So I turn to spirit and say, please know the physical perfection of me, and then support me in finding the things that I need to support the material body of me. So turn first to spirit, and then listen to spirit's guidance in where additional help is. If that is helpful to you, please. I'm definitely never suggesting just use prayer. I'm definitely saying start with prayer and then listen to the guidance to all the other support that you have around you. Did you hear what I said? All the other support you have around you, because it's all spirit. Therefore, it's all available. I pray to or commune with the spirit within me. Thus I am made whole. Because I'm going to be willing to listen to the guidance of spirit in what else I can do to support my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. All right. When the prayer of faith penetrates the subjective thought and neutralizes the false images, then the sick are raised into health. That's what I mean about the bliss body. That's what I mean about God's idea of you. Let go of who you think you are. Let go of who you have been told you are. Let go of all of that and realize God's idea of you. Realize Spirit's idea of you. And then listen to the guidance that brings you to the support that you need to kind of jimmy the material into matching the spirit. All right. So that's my idea on health. I am going to move into the process of my day because I get to go to work today. But I am going to encourage you. No, wait. Do we have a mission? We should have a mission. Oh, wait. I know what it is. Where did it? Okay. So our mission today is to let the mind lift its countenance to the spirit, permitting its flow of harmony, unity, and beauty to clear a passageway to to the perfection that we are in God's mind. All right, that's our mission. Oh, it's that idea of, it's kind of intimidating to think that God has an idea of you. But if God didn't have an idea of you, if Spirit didn't have an idea of you, you wouldn't be here. So there it absolutely is, in God's mind, in Spirit's mind, in the law of good, there is a perfect idea of you. And that's who you are. Really and truly, that's who you are. It doesn't matter what anybody else has told you you are. So, all right. Do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself every day, because you live in that state of grace and you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I don't even know how to tell you to engage your mind and your body today. I did get up and do my physical therapy. I just let myself sleep in a little bit. And rest is good. Absolutely, rest is good. I took a nice 2-hour nap yesterday. So do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Go and consult the people that can support you in finding that bliss body, finding that, or revealing God's idea of you, because they're out there. And, you know, sometimes it's as easy as asking somebody for some ideas on some good recipes. I mean, it can be as easy as that. So, yeah. All right. Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'd like to say that I'm going to go to the park and talk to the squirrels again like I did yesterday, but it may rain. We'll see. So open your windows. Allow that breath of heaven to come in and remind you that you live in heaven now, to remind you that you are a beloved child of Spirit in whom Spirit is well pleased, to remind you that God has an idea of you, and that idea is perfect and whole and complete and happy. So do what you need to do to get there. All right? Have a wonderful day, beloveds, and I will talk to you tomorrow.